Hello everyone and welcome to the Iowa Speedway. I'm Kyle Heyer here with Finian DeCuna for SimTV. Finian, we're back here again with the 3WideRacing League and the Nathan Young Designs Truck Series here at Iowa. 150 laps here tonight, Finian. 4 turns on this beautiful oval here in Newton, Iowa. And this is the 7th round of the 2018 season, and there's 27 trucks entered in this one. It's going to be a wet and wild one, and we're ready to get this underway. So, Finian, tell me a little bit about what you're expecting tonight in terms of the pushing and shoving, a little bit of argy-bargy out there.
Well, but definitely we're at, I would call this a short track just due to its length. But yeah, definitely going to see some guys trying to move some other guys out of the way. Low line's definitely preferred here, so you're going to see some beating banging.
Yeah, so 65 degrees in the air tonight, 70 on the track, so nice and cool overcast conditions here. Wind out of the northeast at 11 miles an hour, so a beautiful evening. A little bit cloudy here, but that will be fine for us. No chance of rain here this evening. So as we're qualifying here, we just have about 2 minutes left in that. So right now, Peter Short is at the top of the board by about 0.04 of a second over Kurt Crum. Louis Amasso, Eric Mickey, and Kevin Finn. That's your top 5. Levi Zielinski, Skylar Nissel, Johnny Thomas, James Duke, and Thomas Morrison here. So, Finian, last week we were or a couple weeks ago actually, we were at Eldora driving around a nice short dirt track, and here we're back on pavement. And next week we go straight back to dirt. So is it a mindset that you have to change going from dirt back to asphalt and back to dirt?
Yeah, definitely. It's a completely different discipline of racing. So some of the guys you might have seen at the front last week might not do as well here, but you never know. Good racers are good racers all around. But definitely some guys who are good at the pavement are going to shine tonight.
As you look right now, the running order pretty much but again, there's always the threat of caution flags here at this track. It's not really quite an intermediate track. It's not really quite a short track. It's somewhere in between. I'd liken it to something like Richmond. Do you say that's kind of a fair assessment?
Yeah, that would definitely be a good fair assessment at 0.88 miles.
Yeah, so a little bit shorter than a mile, so I think Richmond's a 3/4 mile, so pretty close in size there. But again, driven kind of like a short track. You can use the bumpers, you can use the fenders, and knock each other out of the way. So with 11 seconds left, Peter Short will be sitting on your pole this evening. Kurt Crum, Louis Amasso, Eric Mickey, Kevin Finn, Levi Zielinski, Skylar Nissel, Johnny Thomas, James Duke, and Nathan Velez is going to jump in. There's your top 10 there for you. So qualifying is going to conclude there, Finian, and let's get him on the racetrack and ready to go racing here for 150 laps here this evening. Right, as normal, we got a couple minutes to grid this up and ready to go. This race should take about an hour if everything goes green, but we'll see how that goes. I think that might be a little bit of wishful thinking because it gets pretty messy out there sometimes when these guys start pushing and shoving. So it'll be interesting to see how these guys behave this evening. And Peter Short in the number 22 Kansas City Southern Tundra is sitting on the pole right next to Kurt Crum. And Crum in that bright yellow Kurt's cab car. That's always an easy car to spot. Earlier today had a Majors League race, and ran pretty well on that. And I believe Eric Mickey, I didn't watch the end of it, but I'm pretty sure Eric Mickey went out there and won that race. So congratulations to him on that. Like I said, I can't guarantee that. I only watched some of it. So that was broadcasted on Race Spot TV. The Ford FR500 pace car is out in front of a field of 27 trucks here this evening. It's a pretty big field, and I think this is even this is a decent-sized field for a track this small, so there's going to be lots of action on each end of this racetrack as we get rolling here. And Finian, not banked super high, but pretty high for a track of this size, and enough banking to lean on, and also multiple lines here.
Yeah, it definitely gives you a lot of room to work with. You can try a bunch of different lines, although you have to be careful. And one place I really see a lot of drivers struggle is hitting the apron in 1 and 2. A lot of guys try to get as low in the turn as possible, and some guys put a wheel off into the apron, and that's almost a death sentence here. It almost never works out okay.
As the field rolls off down the exit of pit road, So Finian's back home in Long Island, and I'm back home in Rochester, New York, and we are ready to go here. This is one of the first broadcasts we've done back for our summer session here, and Finian's going to have the ability to look and see what wrecks are going on or where the action is, and I can focus on broadcasting. So a little bit different setup, and we should be able to bring a better product than normal. So I'm excited to see how this is going to turn out this evening. The field works their way through turn 2 and down the back straightaway, and into turn 3. We are ready to go racing. Once again, 150 laps here around the Iowa Speedway. Pace car is going to roll around one more time before we get this underway.
One thing to note as we're pacing around, points leader is Eric Mickey in the number 6 truck, and he's followed by Paul Ross in the number 18. He's back in 21st. Third place is Michael Whitley in... what truck is he in?
Whitley will be in the number 94 machine. There's your number there, Finian.
Hey! Yeah, those are the point standings as they run at the moment, so we'll see how well these guys can do as they get going here.
Pace car rounds turn 3 and heads into turn 4, and we're ready to go for 150 laps here at the Iowa Speedway here in Newton, Iowa, in iRacing for the 3WideRacing League. Nathan Young Designs. The start time and other information, including sponsor stuff, can be found in the video description. And we are ready to go racing. Green flag is in the air here at Iowa. Peter Short is going to lead them to the green. And there they go. Green flag's in the air. Down into turn 1 we go, 2 wide, a couple rows deep. Peter Short jumps out early, but Kurt Crum is not really left. He's right there on the rear bumper, and he's followed by Eric Mickey in the number 6 machine. Levi Zielinski and Louis Samasso are going to be side by side for 4th. Quick laps here, about 23, 24 seconds. See Levi Zielinski in the 59 truck working around the outside of the 4 Louis Samasso. He's going to take that spot away. And Samasso might be giving up here in the 14 to Kevin Finn. It's the Barks Root Beer Chevrolet.
Ooh, and they're 3 wide in by 20th place. Where they were a second ago.
Yeah, gaggle here with Josh Personette, Paul Ross, and Rusty Webb's just in front of this battle, but there's also the 33 of Jordan Teal following. And they might go 3 wide again here shortly. Also back here, the 75 of Frank Sims the 4th, and Matt Hackathorn, who put on a heck of a show at Eldora. Lots of battles all over the racetrack. The 5 of Sam Close is working on a battle between Whitley and Todd Smith, and Todd Smith has already moved up a couple spots from his starting spot of 14th. He has moved his way up into 12th, and then just in front of him, Skylar Nissel and Thomas Morris are side by side. Both these guys were involved in wrecks at Eldora. Hoping to get a cleaner run here this evening.
Yeah, so far so good. These guys are trying to find the rhythm, get single file, and get going here. I thought it would be a lot more aggressive earlier on.
There's group of 4 here with Skylar Nissel, Michael Whitley, and Sam Close there in the 5 is coming up on this battle. And Todd Smith is going to be taking over, or he's going to be battling with the 31 of Nissel. So Smith might... As he's going up to 11, he's going to lose it to Nissel as he moves himself into the 11th spot. Heads for the top 10 early in this one. We're 7 laps in already. Up front, there is a battle for the lead. Peter Short, Kurt Crum, and Eric Mickey are nose to tail heading into turn 3. Kurt Crum looks to the bottom. 156 miles an hour down the front straightaway. He is right on the rear tailpipes of that 22 Kansas City Southern, not Camry. We're here in the Truck Series tonight. It's a Tundra this evening. But Eric Mickey is looking racy, your current points leader. He wants a little bit more than third.
Yeah, Mickey's trying out different lines. He went low in 1 and 2, and he's looking high in 3 and 4. So he's just trying to find any way he can to get around Kurt Crum. I wonder if he's going to try to resort to a fender here if he can.
Perhaps a little bit early to make enemies, but I wouldn't really put it past any of these guys to lay a bumper. It is the trucks, after all. They're pretty sturdy, big beasts. A lot of steel built into these guys. Makes it fun to race, but Kurt Crum still working over the rear bumper of the 22 of Peter Short. But here comes Mickey to the inside.
Yeah, it just seems he can't get it done. If he really wants to make the move, he's got to lunge for it, and that seems like his only option.
Whoa, we got one wrecking. I don't know if he made it out of this alive, but there was a car way sideways. Didn't quite see who it was. Might have been the, it wasn't the 75. Didn't quite see who it was, but someone went for a heck of a ride.
Oh, that was a 76.
The 76 car of James Duke. Let's see if we can get a replay of that. That was pretty crazy. I have to go back a little bit farther than that, I think. Currently watching a replay of the 76 of James Duke. Oh yeah, maybe a little bit of netcode contact from the 18 of Paul Ross, but an amazing save. Did a great job holding on to that truck. And continues in 19th with little effect. I was sure that was going to be a yellow with how crazy that was there.
Yeah, great driving and a great save.
But Sam Close is almost in the middle of 3 wide here. Todd Smith is 12th. And up in front of them is Richard Hines in the 87, another truck that was a force to reckon with at Eldora a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, the 1 is just really trying to work the 5 there. He's not giving him any room on the high side. And here they go 3 wide.
And Smith's going to pass both of them, but can he make it stick? Still 3 wide down the back straight. There's so much momentum to be had on the high lane, and it's so hard to give it up to go to the bottom, but sometimes you got to do what everyone else is not doing. You see him lose a little bit of momentum off turn 2 there, and the 87 of Hines is going to get back around him. So Smith showing speed early, but he can't quite get his truck moving forward the way he would like.
Yeah, it seems like the common theme here is that it's kind of hard to pass someone, at least cleanly. So we're going to see how these guys try to cope with it as the run goes on.
Now Smith under attack from Michael Whitley in the number 94. Flying J Chevrolet. Out up front, nothing's changed. Peter Short, Kurt Crum, Eric Mickey, your top 3. Levi Zielinski in 4th. And Kevin Finn in 5th. And I heard a little bit of contact there, but looks like we're still green, so everything's okay. Skylar Nissel side by side with the 18 of Paul Ross, and Ross is moving forward. He's going to take that spot away. Ross started 21st, so already up 7 spots.
Yeah, and a good battle here is the 83 and the 4 having a good battle for 6th.
Side by side, Luis Amaso and Johnny Thomas.
And even Nathan Velez wants to stay in this as well. He wants to get another position.
Riding on board now with Nathan Velez in the 48. Running 8th position here, started 10th, so he's moved up a couple spots. And you see the line kind of gravitating up the racetrack just a little bit. Maybe a little bit more than I was expecting early on in this race.
Yeah, I'm surprised they're only on lap 19 of 150, and the line's already changed drastically.
See Johnny Thomas there working the outside, and he can't quite get it up there, but he's going to get a little bit of a run. We'll see if he can make a move down the back straight. Can't quite do it, but he's going to look to the bottom now. But a little bit of follow the leader going on in that outside lane, but you can't drive through him. You got to drive around him.
And there's a battle back on for 13.
Paul Ross is trying to take over that 13th spot from Todd Smith, and he does. And now he's going for 12th with Michael Whitley side by side. Here comes Smith to the inside. Going to try to take that spot back.
Yeah, Smith seems to really be struggling. He just fell from 12th to 14th in about 5 laps, so we'll keep an eye on his progress, but it's not looking like how he wanted this run to go.
Yeah, and then looking at the other side of it, Paul Ross has moved forward, and he's up about 9 spots now. So he is on the move, heading to the front. And again, another truck that was very competitive at Eldora. He goes all the way to the bottom on that yellow line. You're going to see the momentum difference here. He's going to slide up. Can't quite complete it, but he's going to slide up. Oh, man, he's going to try to get into that spot, and he does. A little bit of bullying there by the 18 of Paul Ross, but he's going to get up in front of Michael Whitley in 94 and take that 12th spot away and head for the 87 of Richard Hines down the back straightaway. Great move by Paul Ross in that 18.
Yeah, solid driving. Wow, Paul is on the move. Great dive.
Using the bottom of the racetrack to really advance his position, which is, I mean, watching guys pass in the bottom is not something we've seen a lot yet.
Yeah, I think really that's the only way you can really pass, by just forcing the car and pulling the slide job almost. As you can see, the 94 almost pulling the same thing.
Yeah, 94, Whitley saw, hey, you passed me that way, I'm going to pass someone else that way, and he's taken that learning experience and used it to pass the 87. And
speaking of passing, there's a battle for 6th and 7th in Gackle cars.
Whoa, there, Louis Salmaso, Johnny Thomas, Thomas Morris, and Nathan Velez all in this battle for 6th. Side by side down the back straightaway. Thomas to the inside. We'll see if Morris can follow him through in the 27.
Yeah, no change up front, still the same position, same distance between the drivers.
Yep, 3/10 back from Peter Short back to Kurt Crum, and then another 2/10 back to Eric Mickey, and then another second back to Levi Zielinski. So this is the best battle on the racetrack here for 6th. 2 Chevys and 2 Toyotas. And Thomas taking the hard way around on the bottom, and Velez looked like he was going to go 3 wide there for a second, but thought better of it. It's going to push Luis Amaso down the front straightaway. He's going to look to the outside now. Will we go 3 wide? Thinking about it, but haven't quite done it yet. That bottom side is so tough to pass on. Down the front straightaway now, lap 27 of 150. This battle for 6th continues to rage. And Velez is looking a little impatient behind the 4 of Salmaso. Kind of wants to move himself forward, and he's got to deal with the 27 of Thomas Morris on the inside, so he can't quite get out of the situation. You see the 4 lose a lot of momentum on the exit, and that's going to let Morris clear the 48 of Velez heading into turn 1.
Yeah, as a driver, it's got to be really frustrating. You see 3 drivers in front of you, you're boxed in. You feel like you can pass them, you just want to put the truck somewhere, but you can't because you're pretty much blocked on all sides.
So Johnny Thomas completes the pass for 6th, and he'll jump out ahead of this group, and looks like Morris is going to complete the pass on Luis Salmaso as well. So moves Salmaso back to 8th. And Velez is going to look to the inside now.
Ooh, the 76 went for another spin.
The 76 of James Duke having a tough day.
Yeah, on lap 28, going into 4, or coming out of 4.
So James Duke already had a couple slides so far. No cautions yet, which is good to see. 30 laps of green flag running. I don't expect the whole race to go that way, but so far so good. So Duke struggling back in 24th. I believe David Wilson in the 39 truck, the Silverado, is actually streaming on YouTube. You can find that link on his Twitter. So Wilson will have a first-person perspective of his race, currently running 23rd. Dropped a couple spots from 19th where he started, so not a great start to this one, but still a long way to go. Yeah, I'm taking a look at our leader in a while. There's Peter Short in the 22, still leading by about 2.5 tenths of a second. Kurt Crum took a big chunk out of that lead, really driving in deep, and these front 3 have not separated. And we got a yellow on the racetrack. Who is it? Oh, it's Todd Smith in the number 1. Out of control and spins it. So caution is out. First caution on lap 32. Go back and take a look at it. He's inside the 31 of Skylar Nissel. And on corner exit here, does he just drift up a little bit? Yep, just drifts up, gets tight. Oh, and Nissel spins as well. So Nissel and Smith go for a ride. See, riding on board with the one of Smith, just understeered on corner exit and got into the 31 to Nissel. So caution is out here early in this race. 32 laps in, 33 laps in now. The leaders are going to bring it down pit road.
All right, as we come down pit road, I gotta ask you a question. So, do you think, as you see, that passing is a bit hard for these guys here? Do you want to try to play a strategy, and take 2 tires, or do you go for all 4?
It's hard to say. I would take 2 at this point just to experiment. I mean, we're only 33 laps into this race. You might as well go for something. Just try to see how the 2 tires works so that you can maybe take that later in the race. And if you find out now that they don't work, then no harm, no foul. You'll be good, and you can just take 4 later in the race. I think 2 right now as a strategy call might be good just to see where things pan out. Waiting at pit exit here. Oh, that's a tight race off pit road. We'll see who wins it. Kurt Crum certainly looked like he had a good run coming off the pit road. And
yeah, Eric Mickey drops a few spots. He missed his pit stall and had a reverse. So that's going to be costly to him. He's going to be in 6th place.
So Kurt Crum takes over the lead in the pits, and Peter Short's going to be moved back to 2nd. Levi Zielinski moves up to 3rd, and Eric Mickey drops all the way back to 6th place. But not so great on the first pit stop for Mickey, but with his pace so far, he should be able to get himself right back up there, and he'll be starting on the outside lane coming to the restart. Paul Ross has moved his way up into 9th now, and he started 21st, so he is our biggest mover of the race so far in that number 18 Silverado. On the back straightaway, we work lap 35 of 150. This early caution brought out by the number 1 of Todd Smith and the 31 of Nissel. Those trucks not too damaged, which is a good thing to see. And Todd Smith doesn't look like he has a lot of damage to the right front of that number 1 truck. And Nissel just got it in the left rear, so any tire rub could have been fixed in the pits. So I think these guys are in good shape, considering that could have been a lot worse than it was. So they kind of got away with it.
Yeah, I don't want to jinx anyone, but these tracks look really clean right now. So
yeah, clean for a short track race. I'll give them that.
We'll see how they are 100 laps later.
So 1 lap to green here. The lights are out on the pace car. The leaders have swapped. Kurt Crum and Peter Short switching lanes for this restart. Crum is going to elect to take the bottom lane. And 2 trucks are out of this race. Travis Bennett in the 65 and the 03 of Wade Lear out of the race early. Bennett's down 35 laps and Wade Lear is down 8. So Kurt Crum leads the field into turn 3. The pace car is going to pull off this time, and we're going to head back green. Ford FR500 pace car pulls off, and green flag is back in the air here at Iowa Speedway. Kurt Crum's going to lead him down. Already several cars wide. Kevin Finn and Eric Mickey side by side. Whoa, wow, Levi Zielinski almost had trouble there next to Kevin Finn in the 14 truck. Oh, Zielinski pulls up right in front of the 14. He's going to go to the bottom. We get single file pretty quick. But Zielinski is on the move, looking to the outside now of Peter Short in that 22.
And Mickey charging his way already back to 4th place.
Eric Mickey rolling that high lane, trying to take advantage of it. Side by side here, back for 12th and 11th. That's Luis Salmaso in the 4th and in the 4 truck, and Matt Hackathorn in the 44, who is again started 24th up to 11th. So he's also moved up 13 spots. Up into the 11th spot. Wow, almost 3 wide here. Chad Brown, Chuck Sweeting, and Richard Hines all together in a group. That's for 15th. And Chuck Sweeting in that 26 Liberty Silverado working his way up. He started 26, he's up to 16th, so a lot of movers early in this one. Also, the 99 and Nick Miller in the Silverado there in the 99 is working that high lane as well. Down the back straightaway for the 41st time. 23 of Josh Personet's looking at all this. He doesn't even know where to go. There's so many trucks in front of him. He's going to look to the inside of the 99. Oh, we got one in the wall. That's Chad Brown in the 64. Just a little bit of a scrape on corner exit. He'll get away with it. Meanwhile, out front, nothing's changed. Kurt Crum leading by 0.3 of a second over Peter Short. We're side by side for third. Here comes Eric Mickey on the inside of Levi Zielinski.
Yeah, Short was all over Crum on the restart. It seemed to have fallen back just a bit. Probably trying to recuperate and make another charge.
Here comes Kevin Finn to the inside of Eric Mickey. Can he make a pass for fourth? That truck is on the move. Does look difficult to pass out there, so gotta wonder when the frustrations will start boiling over later in the race. It can only be nice for so long.
Boom, Paul Ross makes a move for 8th place.
Paul Ross looking to the inside of Sam Close. Will he complete that pass? Can't quite clear him, but he's gonna have to set his sights on the 83 of Johnny Thomas as soon as he does. There he goes, clears him heading into turn 1. The kind of single file one lane for the most part, all running kind of the 3/4 of the way up the racetrack, which is a peculiar line here at Iowa. Usually you're either way up high or way down low, trying to take advantage of the momentum or trying to take advantage of the short way around the course. And battle for second has moved its way down to the bottom of the racetrack.
Yeah, Zielinski almost put a bumper on Short there. He got really close.
The Short has moved back into second and is looking now. He's closed the gap just a little bit on Kurt Crum, that number 11 Silverado. Off turn 2, down the back straightaway again. Battle for 20th is heated up just a little bit. Josh Personet, Chad Brown, and the 33 of Jordan Teal all right into it with each other. And there's a 76 of James Duke trying to recover from his early issues, as well as Skylar Nissel, who was involved in that earlier accident on lap 32. But up front, battle for the lead is heating up. Here comes Peter Short. Gap is under 0.2 of a second now heading down the front straightaway.
Yeah, I honestly don't see how Short can get around him without putting a bumper or pulling some kind of crazy move. And Kurt Crum's line is just really consistent and he's just hitting all of his marks, so Short's really going to have to think out of the box. And Eric Mickey looks for a pass.
Eric Mickey to the inside of Levi Zielinski. Down on the bottom of the racetrack, and we've seen a couple trucks be able to do that. One of them being the 18 of Paul Ross, and Eric Mickey's trying to make it work, but he's going to lose the momentum down the front straight, and Zielinski will be able to hold on to that spot for now, at the line at least. So about a third of the way through this race, we're on lap 51 now. One caution at lap 32 for a wreck involving the number 1 of Todd Smith and the 31 of Tyler Nissel. Kurt Crum and Peter Short have about led equal laps about at this point. And Mickey is right on the rear bumper of that 59 of Zielinski in the Shell-powered Tundra.
And so is Peter Short and Kurt Crum.
A little bit of racing going on behind these guys here for 7th. Or 6th, rather. That's Paul Ross trying to make a pass on Johnny Thomas, and Ross has been moving forward quickly. And there's Nathan Velez there in 8th, who's been kind of riding there for a while. But Ross is moving forward a lot quicker than everybody else. Again, started 21st up to 6th. So he is on the move. And I expect to see him battling for the lead here shortly. Meanwhile, up front, we got a battle for the lead. Peter Short to the inside of Kurt Crum. Can he complete the pass here? Not going to be able to do it. Go ahead.
Yeah, sorry, I was gonna say I just don't think these guys are able to get the run off the inside. It's like you either gotta make your pass on the inside entering the corner, otherwise you're gonna lose so much momentum on the exit.
Side by side for the lead now. Into turn 1. Peter Short running the short way around. Kurt Crum way up top, trying to use that momentum to his advantage. So Short trying to make that inside work as best as he can. But as the tires wear off, that's going to get tougher and tougher to do. You see him understeer just a little bit. That's what happened to Todd Smith and Skylar Nissel. And Short's going to have to jump out of the throttle to avoid an accident there. Oh, will Short clear him?
Points to Short for just constantly going at it. He might be able to do it.
I think he's got him cleared. Yes, he does. He's going to slide up in front of him, and Peter Short's going to take back over the lead here on lap 55.
Kurt's not letting him get away, though. Kurt's going to die to the inside.
Does the over-under down to the inside in turn 1. Can he make it stick? Not this time. Great battle for the lead here on lap 57. And side by side for third, Eric Mickey again trying to take advantage of Levi Zielinski on the bottom. Will he make this pass work? Can't clear him yet. I think that's really going to be what we're talking about tonight. Is guys that can't clear people. This is kind of what we talked about at Eldora and other dirt tracks when you perform a slide job. You see Mickey completing it there. You'd have to really drive it down deep into the corner and kind of slide up on exit, and that's a real good way to make enemies here if you don't do it right. But Eric Mickey was able to complete that pass for third.
And we got a battle going on for 5th and 6th.
Kevin Finn and Paul Ross and Johnny Thomas all together in a group.
Yeah, if Paul Ross can make this pass, he should be able to break into the top 5 as he's going to go ahead for a look.
Oh, that's so tight there. Not a lot of room left. But Ross is going to... Is at least complete the pass on Johnny Thomas and head for Kevin Finn now, but man, this 18 truck, if he's not competing for the win by the end of this race, I don't know who is. That truck is about as quick as I've seen any. The fastest truck on the racetrack so far this race is actually the third place truck of Eric Mickey. You see Ross going to the inside now in the 14. So Eric Mickey has run the fastest lap. That's a 23.121. Peter Short's run a 23.160, and Kurt Crum run a 23.161. So it's about as close as you can get a group of trucks to run at a racetrack like this, off by 1,000th of a second between the front two. Meanwhile, Ross completes that pass for 5th, and is successfully... sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I really would love to see if another caution were to come out, how Ross would do with the top 4, because those guys have been showing that they've got the pace. Ross is showing he's got the pace coming from 21st to 5th, so if he can get up there, I wonder if he can make something happen.
I think it's definitely going to happen later in this race if he can just move his way up a little bit closer to the front. And if there's a late race restart, I expect this 18 truck to be on the move. He's been very aggressive with his passes. You see this side-by-side battle for 6th now with Johnny Thomas and Kevin Finn. Finn slipping just a little bit. Started this race in 5th and now going to lose this spot to Johnny Thomas and fall back to 7th if Thomas is able to complete it, which it looks like he will coming off of turn 2. That's a slide job if I've ever seen one. Thomas completes it, though. But now we got the 14 to the inside. Got side-by-side here for, looks like, 13th. It's Chuck Sweeting and Todd Smith side-by-side. And Smith has worked his way back up into the 14th spot, which is where he started. But a tough night for Smith, and I expected him to really be out front. So maybe a rough qualifying lap is translated into a rough race for the number 1 of Todd Smith. Meanwhile, Skylar Nissel has not really recovered as well as I expected him to. After that initial contact with the 1 on lap 32, he's not really driven up back to where he belongs. Started 7th and is currently running 22nd, so not able to recover as he's racing side by side with Jordan Teal for 21st. Meanwhile, out front, Peter Short has extended his lead up now to 0.7 of a second. That's as big of a lead as we've seen tonight. But Kurt Crum has his mirror full of Eric Mickey now heading into turn 1.
Yeah, I've noticed Levi Zielinski's fallen way off the pace from these guys. He's completely lost them, and Paul Ross and company are catching up to him.
Yeah, Zielinski fallen just a little bit. Started 6th, is currently running 4th, so he's up from where he started, but definitely a forced wreck with. He's got a little bit of damage on the right front fender, so he might have had a little bit of contact with the wall early in this race, and I think that might be what's causing his handling issues at this point. But Paul Ross is coming in that 18 truck, moving forward quickly.
Yeah, he's gnawing about 1/10 of a lap on Zielinski every time by, so it's only a matter of time.
Paul Ross carrying our gyro cam this week. We'll ride on board with him for a lap and take a look at the banking here as he's going to go to the inside of Levi Zielinski. Side by side, that's for 4th. Ross not able to complete it now, but definitely quicker than that 59, and it's only a matter of time at this point.
Oh, 5 is Sam Close in the wall.
Sam Close in the wall, and we'll try to get a look at it. Wow, he really pounded it with that right side. A lot of damage. Let's go back and take a look at it. Side by side with the 48. Yeah, contact from the 48 and Nathan Velez, and he pounds the wall. That's pretty heavy damage on the right side. Right on board with Velez here. Yeah, I mean, just 2 trucks running for the same spot there. 2 trucks going for the same real estate, and that really never works out great. But Velez...
Speaking of fighting over real estate, Johnny Thomas is looking for 5th place.
Johnny Thomas has joined this battle with Paul Ross and Levi Zielinski. Zielinski's actually been able to hold off the 18 for longer than I thought. And meanwhile, wow, Ross really aggressive on the rear bumper of Zielinski, and interested to see if he'll lay a bumper to him. But here comes Johnny Thomas in the 83 to the inside, and you have to wonder, from Ross's point of view, I mean, when do you lay the bumper just so you don't lose a spot yourself when someone comes up from behind?
I would say definitely with 20 laps to go. I don't know if he wants to do it. We're just about approaching halfway in this race. In his eyes, it might be a little too early.
Ross to the inside. Will he complete the pass this time? He's going to slide up in front of Zielinski as Zielinski gets really tight off turn 4. He's going to give that 5th spot over to Johnny Thomas now. And Thomas will move his way up into 5th. So out up front, you're not missing a thing. Peter Short, Kurt Crum, Eric Mickey, your top 3. Paul Ross has driven all the way from 21st up to the 4th spot. Pretty much unaided by yellow flags. We had 1 yellow flag at lap 32. And so, if any, we're 41 laps into this run. You got to start wondering, when does pitting become a bigger advantage than staying out on older tires?
Yeah, that's a good question. I mean, you do really have to pretty much pit with fuel. I don't think these guys want to take tires over fuel. So they're pretty much going to pit when they have to. It's just a matter of timing it right so they can get the maximum amount of tires for the amount of pit stops they have to make.
So we're about halfway through. We've reached the halfway point in this race. And you see right now for 9th, Chuck Sweeting has gotten around. Velez in the wall. Sparking down the back straight. I have to go back and take a look at it and see how significant that contact was, but it looked pretty bad. He was racing the outside of the 26. Just kind of did that thing where you go into the corners, kind of scraping the wall, and it kind of just sticks to it. So Velez a little bit of damage. So here, right now, we're looking at Eric Mickey. Right in front of him is Todd Smith, who is now, he is pitted already. So he's been the first one to take a green flag pit stop, and is now a lap down in 24th. But that's interesting to see him try something a little bit different now, because obviously he's not having... Oh, we got Eric Mickey. Is he in the wall? Looked like he was. Yeah, some right front damage to that 6 truck. But so Todd Smith, the first one to take the pit road dive, he's the first one to complete his second stop. So I expect to see some more trucks on pit road shortly, and see if that undercut will work for the number 1. So our leader, Peter Short, has worked through some lap traffic as the 76 of James Duke goes a lap down. But here comes Todd Smith. Now let's keep an eye on this battle here, because I'm interested to see how much better the tires are now that we're about 42 to 45 laps into a run. And here he's working to the outside of the 22 of Short. He's going to get his lap back. So interesting.
Ooh, wow. 64 is spun on the entrance of pit road.
Well, the 64 of Chad Brown goes around. And, well, let's take a look at that while he's pitting. Just locked it down going into the pits, so you can see him go back a little bit farther than that. Yeah, well, you gotta do what you gotta do. Yeah, I just got down on the apron and just lost it and tried to overcorrect a couple times and lost control. So Chad Brown goes for a little spin, but no harm, no foul. Gets it figured out. All right, so we got a couple trucks. Now, I'm going to make a correction here. Todd Smith was 2 laps down when he made his pit stop. So when he got his lap back, he was able to get himself only 1 lap down. So James Duke, Todd Smith, or not James Duke, I'm sorry, Todd Smith and Chad Brown, the only trucks to make 2 pit stops so far. As we work lap 83, we're going to be inching closer and closer to more pit stops. We're about 50 laps into this run now, and I expect to see more trucks on pit road pretty shortly. Luis Almaso, off the racetrack, cannot find what happened to him, so I got to jump back and try to see. Huh. He kind of disappeared. So Luis Almaso off the racetrack in that 4. We're watching Peter Short now. Vinny, you got an update for me?
Yeah, I was just looking at it. It looked like he hit the wall and then left, so I'm not sure if he manually left or if he had a hardware failure.
Yeah, not looking good for Luis Almaso in that 4 truck. So now we have 4 trucks out of the race. Luis Almaso, Josh Personette, Wade Lear, and Travis Bennett all out of the race at this time. All right, so Smith's last lap time was a 24.1. Peter Short, our leader's last lap time, was a 24.4. So about a 0.3 of a second difference, and that's gaining him a lot of ground right now. But if these guys go just a little bit farther, they might be able to make it more make it all the way to the end on 1 more pit stop. So it's interesting to see how this all works out. Field is spread out pretty well here. Now there's Johnny Thomas working the inside of Paul Ross, but not able to get up next to him just yet. What a notable, Matt Hackathorn has driven his way up to 7th from 24th. So pretty big jump for him as well. He's working over Levi Zielinski, who has slipped to 6th, and now almost to 7th as Hackathorn works him over in turn 4.
Yeah, I was surprised to see him further down the field, but definitely showing the pace really where it matters.
And Zielinski's going to slide to 7th, and here comes Kevin Finn looking to take that spot away. You know, you got to wonder, is Zielinski's truck just not handling on the tires, or is that damage just wrecking his cornering ability right now? I imagine the damage is significant. It looks pretty bad, but we'll see where it all works out here at the end of this run.
Yeah, I definitely think the damage is hurting him, and as I say that, Eric Mickey's come down the pit road.
So Eric Mickey jumps down to pit lane, the first of the leaders to make his way down here.
So I gotta wonder if Peter Short or Kurt Crum are gonna come down in response.
Yeah, here comes Kurt Crum. And Johnny Thomas is going to follow. So Paul Ross is going to stay out on the racetrack for now. And he might just wait till Peter Short goes in to steal a lap away. But several on pit road now.
And here comes Peter Short as well.
So Peter Short's going to come down to pit lane. And here comes the 31 of Skylar Nissel as well. And will Paul Ross follow? He does not. He stays on the racetrack. He will lead this lap. So Eric Mickey's back out on the racetrack, and he got about a one-lap advantage over the 22 of Short, or a little bit more than that for Short, but a one-lap advantage over the number 11 of Kurt Crum. So it'll be interesting to see where that all sorts itself out. And Kurt Crum's entering the racetrack right now, and it looks like Eric Mickey's going to drive right around him. So great undercut by Eric Mickey in the number 6. So now we'll see where Peter Short comes out. Short's leaving pit road now. Here comes Mickey. He's going to drive right up to the rear bumper. It's going to be close here, Finian.
Yeah, I don't think he's got it. Nope.
He doesn't, but he definitely closed the gap. The others pitting now, but Levi Zielinski currently leading.
Ooh, Thomas Morris into the tire barrier.
Oh, Thomas Morris hard into the tire barrier at the end of pit road.
Yeah, he seems to be...
And he's going to leave and jump to the pits to save himself here, but we'll get a replay of that. Yeah, just coming down to pit road, got on the apron, kind of what happened to the 64 of Chad Brown, and yep, nosed it in and got stuck. What a shame. But Nathan Velez is your leader, but this is all going to sort itself out. So the top 5 right now have not pitted. So the first driver that has pitted is Peter Short. He's running 6th right now, and Eric Mickey is about 1.2 seconds behind. And Zielinski's going to pull into his pit stall. And here comes the leader, Velez, down to pit road. And Michael Whitley's going to stay out another lap. As does Rusty Webb in 2nd, and David Wilson in the 39 in 3rd. So Peter Short side by side with the number 99 of Nick Miller, who is a lap down. So here comes Whitley down to pit road now. And the 88 of Webb is going to take over now. So still working the field through this green flag pit stop sequence. They can make it to the end from here. So it should be the final pit stop, but if a caution comes out, I definitely think we'll see some more stops. So the last lap for the 2 leaders was over 25 seconds, and Peter Short just ran a 23.6. So they're losing a lot of ground here, but again, more of a strategy play to see if they can get a caution. Kurt Crum is now side by side with the 33 of Jordan Teal, but Teal is down a lap. So Crum lost that spot and lost a lot of ground to Eric Mickey. And partially due to the pit stop, it was 0.7 of a second difference, a 14.9 to a 15.6 for the pit stop. So Rusty Webb. Oh, so go ahead, Finian.
Oh, no, I was just going to say, he's probably definitely not going to be happy with his pit crew there.
Yeah, definitely not. And Rusty Webb continues to lead. 2-second advantage over David Wilson. Really just trying to hold out as long as they can, probably just to see if they can get a yellow.
I do wonder, though, how much fuel they do have in that tank.
Well, they can definitely make it to the end here, so anytime they stop now is fine. But again, Rusty Webb, David Wilson not having great days, so probably worth the gamble at this point. So Todd Smith, let's talk about Todd Smith. Involved in that wreck on lap 32. Did the undercut. Has a little bit of damage to the right front of that truck, but has moved his way into 9th. So that strategy call paid off for Todd Smith.
Yeah, and if the top 2 guys who have not pitted, if they come to the pits, he'll be in 7th. So interesting move. The only problem is that he's got guys with fresher tires behind him, so gonna see how this all plays out.
Yeah, Chuck Sweeting in the 26 and 14 of Kevin Finn are all over the one. I'm not sure if that damage came before or after the pit sequence, but it could be hurting him. All right, well, looks like one of the two guys are on pit road. That's Rusty Webb now in his pit stall, getting service. So David Wilson stays out, and we'll see. He's going to come into the pits this time by, it looks like. Oh, is he going to miss pit road? He does. He's going to miss the pits. That's a costly mistake for David Wilson in the 39. He's going to run down that front straightaway drag strip area kind of thing. And he's going to have to go around and try again. So big, big mistake by David Wilson. So, after all that, Peter Short has worked his way out, and Peter Short has worked his way back to the lead and has a 2-second advantage over Eric Mickey. And another second and a half back will take you to Kurt Crum in the number 11. And Paul Ross, 1.6 seconds behind him, is still in fourth, with Johnny Thomas rounding out your top 5. About 47 laps to go when we get to the line, Finian, so we're getting down to the end of it, and a really clean race so far.
Yeah, I'm surprised. You guys have done a fantastic job, really respectful, giving each other a lot of room, racing hard.
That lead extending for Peter Short just a little bit, was a 10th quicker than Eric Mickey last time by. Eric Mickey and Kurt Crum ran identical times, 23.966 last time. Paul Ross just a tad quicker at a 23.923, and Johnny Thomas at a 23.999. So Ross the quickest out of the second and third place trucks, so a little bit quicker. But Peter Short still the fastest truck on the racetrack for now. Kevin Finn in the 14 is side-by-side with that lap truck of the 88 of Rusty Webb. So Webb started 20th and is now 17th, so kind of around where he started. So that strategy call didn't really pay, and it didn't really burn him too bad. He's kind of running right around where he was. Meanwhile, Johnny Thomas is actually closing the gap just a little bit on Paul Ross in the 18, so we'll keep an eye on this battle. So Todd Smith has fallen back just a little ways to 11th. So it has gained him a couple spots, but it didn't pay off as much as we thought it was going to just a few laps ago. Now he's, let's see how many more laps he's got. Got another 10 to 15 laps on his tires and everyone around him, so that's going to hurt him just a bit. All right, so another update on the drivers that are out of this race. The 4 of Luis Amaso, the 23 of Josh Personette, the 03 of Wade Lear, and the 65 of Travis Bennett. Those trucks are out of the race. Richard Hines is 3 laps down. Michael Whitley, Thomas Morris, David Wilson, and James Duke 2 laps down. Frank Sims the 4th, Chad Brown, Rusty Webb, Jordan Teal, Nick Miller, and Skylar Nissel all 1 lap down, and the top 12 are on the lead lap. Skylar Nissel has rebounded a little bit. Took him a while to get back up here, but after that initial contact with the 1 on lap 32, has slowly climbed his way back up into 13th.
Yeah, solid run for him so far. Could have probably been better if he didn't have that incident happen to him, but 13 is not too shabby.
Not too bad. So 12 trucks on the lead lap. So he's in the free pass position if we were to get a yellow. And while it's been clean so far, it's never really out of the equation. The field pretty well spread out for the time being. As we're working 40 laps to go, Peter Short up on Eric Mickey, 2.75 seconds back, so that gap is extending even a little bit more than it was. But behind Mickey, Crum is getting just a little bit bigger in his mirror. Last time by they were equivalent. 24-1 to a 24-1, and Paul Ross a 24-1 behind them. So second, third, and fourth all pretty much equal.
Yeah, meanwhile, Peter Short's running sub 24, so he's really just pulling away from these guys.
That Kansas City Southern Tundra has been quick all night. Started on pole and has led the most laps here this evening. And really showing his strength here at the ovals.
I think if any of these other guys want a chance, I think they're really got to bank on a caution at this point.
I think that's pretty much accurate. I mean, we have a couple drivers within 10 seconds of the leader, but that's a long way to come back with just about 37 to go. So, watching this battle, Kurt Crum closing in on Eric Mickey for a second. So this is going to be heating up here shortly. Riding on board now with Crum through down the back straightaway and into turn 3. I think, Vinny, one of the things that's probably attributed to the clean racing here this evening is the weather. It's nice and cool out there and pretty grippy, so that might have something to do with the race being so clean. When it's hot and slick, it is slidey, and that usually is conducive to yellow flags all over the place. Riding on board now with Nathan Velez in the Harley-Davidson number 48. Started 10th, running 11th. He's just kind of been stagnating around there for most of the day. Had contact earlier in the race with another driver, but no retaliation so far. So it looks like everybody's, kind of forgiving and forgetting at this point, which is good. Because next week we go to Knoxville, and we're gonna hurt some feelings again. Oh, we got a caution on the racetrack. Caution is out. And it is number 1 of Todd Smith yet again. What a shame. All right, let's go get a look at it. But Todd Smith was behind the 94 of Michael Whitley in turn 4. Oh, tried to come down to pit road and lost it and overcorrected and slid right back up onto the race surface, nose first into traffic. Yep. I wonder, and I'm not super familiar with this, but I wonder if that's incidents involving other drivers or self-incidents. So you see the whole field pull onto pit road now. But yeah, Finney and I agree. Well, it'd be interesting to see if Todd Smith is allowed to stay on the racetrack with all this going on.
Yeah, and I think out of all the drivers, I think Peter Shore, I can guarantee, I can put money on this, that he was the most disappointed to see that caution flag come up.
Yeah, so this is where, if you played the 2-tire strategy earlier, which I don't think anybody did, but this is where if you played that strategy, what you learned from it can be applied now. Because if you get a couple trucks, maybe 5, 6, or 7 trucks with 2 tires out in front of the 22 of Peter Short, you could really hinder his ability to win here, but it looks like everyone's going to take 4. And Peter Short's going to come out. Eric Mickey, Kurt Crum, Paul Ross, Johnny Thomas going to continue to be where they are. Matt Hackathorn has worked his way up into 6th. Chuck Sweeting as well. Sweeting has had one heck of a day. I'll update you here. Sweeting started 26th, so second to last, and is now running 7th. So a heck of a race for Sweeting. All right, so lap trucks are going to pit, and got a couple laps remaining in this caution there, Finian.
Yeah, I am really excited to see what Paul Ross can do now, because we saw earlier on, he put on quite a show making some moves. He did get a lot of, I would say he got a lot of experience, more so than the leaders on passing, because the leaders really stayed together. They never really passed each other too much. Ross was trying to pass through traffic for most of the race. So with that knowledge, and if he knows where to put the truck, I wonder if that will come in handy with him, and especially with this, because he does seem to have the pace.
So the best lap still on the racetrack, the best lap in the race, is Eric Mickey in the number 6 truck. So if Mickey can get some clean air and get a good run on Peter Short, he could be a threat to reckon with, especially since he's starting on the front row. Although, Finian, as you and I both know, starting on the outside of the front row is sometimes a disadvantage, and you'd rather be in 3rd.
Yeah, so a lot of it is in the air at this point, so this can go many different ways. I'd definitely say anyone in the top 4 right now has a good shot of winning this race.
It is going to be hard to beat that 22, but with fresh tires and very aggressive drivers, and I think, Vinny, this is where we might see a little bit more caution now. I think patience is going to run out. I think some fenders are going to be pushing and shoving. Now we got a couple more trucks on the lead lap. So I think this is where, if it's going to get messy, this is where it starts.
Yeah, definitely that also leads into the fact how we were talking that it's just so hard to pass here. And right now you got fresh tires, the freshest they're going to be in the entire run. So you're going to try to make your move now. There's no point in waiting till the last 10 laps. These tires are going to be almost shot at that point. So if you're going to do something, you're going to want to do it now.
That's a good point. There's not really much point in saving. We're going to be under 30 laps to go when we restart here. We should be getting the wave around for these lap trucks shortly. So, again, Peter Short, Eric Mickey, Kurt Crum, Paul Ross, Johnny Thomas, your top 5. Then Matt Hackathorn, Chuck Sweeting, Kevin Finn, Nathan Velez, and Sam Close, your top 10. I'm just so impressed with that 26 of Chuck Sweeting. As much as I am with Paul Ross, both those trucks came from way back as we get the 1-to-go signal this time by. A lot of wave arounds here. So when we come to the restart, we're going to have 29 laps to go. 23 of the 27 trucks are running on the racetrack, and 16 of them are on the lead lap. It is going to be a battle. We're going to have several trucks competitive enough to win. It's going to get aggressive. We're going to get pushing and shoving. Peter Short's going to lead them off of turn 4. The FR500 pace car pulls away, and green flag is back in the air, and Peter Short gets a great jump on Eric Mickey heading down towards turn 1.
Yeah, Short really caught the rest of the field sleeping there. He pulled off to a huge gap.
And that's really all he needed. If he can keep that gap, he'll be golden. Everyone's kind of sorted out for now. Oh, Hackathorn's middle 3 wide. Here goes Paul Ross to the outside. There's a gaggle of cars here. This is where it gets dangerous here, Finney. There's 83 to the inside. That's Johnny Thomas. The inside of Matt Hackathorn can't make it work. He's got the 14 to his outside. So Eric Mickey's going to hold in second. So now it becomes a chess match. As we're working almost 3 wide down into turn 1. Kevin Finn side by side with Johnny Thomas. Oh, got a caution on the racetrack again, and it's Chad Brown. And and the 94 is involved as well. A 2-car incident. Over, I believe that's over there in turn 1. Yes, it is. So caution's out again. And the rest of the field breathes a sigh of relief, because they're going to get another shot at Peter Short. So here's the incident with the 64 of Chad Brown. 94 of Whitley right in the middle of 3 wide. That's Jordan Teal on the outside. Oh, man. That's going to be a tough one to look at. Oh, hard contact. 94 gets off the ground. Look at it again, see if we can get a little bit different angle this time. So 94 takes him 3 wide, coming out of turn 4, and just, oh man. The 64 drifted up a little bit into the 94. I would probably place that more on Chad Brown than Michael Whitley. But those trucks pretty badly damaged, and those guys probably not thrilled with each other.
Alright, we got some takers on pit stop. 9th on back seemed to come down pit road.
Here they come. That's Chuck Sweeting, Nathan Velez, Levi Zielinski, who's struggled ever since probably about the midway point of this race. And there's Skylar Nissel up in 11th. And, this is a great move for him. I'd say, you're kind of stuck where you are. You might as well take some tires and try to take advantage of it. We only had a couple laps on those tires, but every little bit counts. So we have 25 laps to go. And if any of this is pretty much what I thought was going to happen, we're going to have a little bit of carnage. A lot of 3 wide, a lot of pushing and shoving. But out up front, Peter Short is pretty untouchable on these restarts. You're going to have to get really creative if you're Eric Mickey or Kurt Crum to take advantage of this. And you can't jump the restarts because you'll get a nice good old black flag. So you got to be aggressive, but not too aggressive. You don't want to get yourself in trouble. And for Eric Mickey and Kurt Crum, and especially Paul Ross, you don't want to throw away all the work you've done here. You don't want to mess up. This race has gone smoothly. Don't screw it up now.
Yeah, I think really the key for these guys is just going to be watching when Short goes and try to predict when just about when they go. They got to watch his car like a hawk, and just as soon as he just makes the inch of movement, just gas it down, because on that last restart, Short just blew away from everyone else.
So Chad Brown is going to go down a lap, as does Michael Whitley for that contact there. So that crash damage repair are going to take a little bit too long to keep themselves on the lead lap. Imagine either this lap or next lap we'll get the 1 to green. So Peter Short is hoping it goes green from here on out, because he has been the best on the green flag conditions all night, even though Eric Mickey has run just a little bit faster. When I say Eric Mickey ran faster, folks, it's by 0.04 of a second. Not a significant advantage, and its whole thing to be right on the rear bumper of the leader, it's just a completely different thing to pass him. Now, if you're go ahead.
Oh no, sorry. I was gonna say, one truck I'm actually kind of interested in at this point. I didn't think I would be. Is Matt Hackathorn. He seemed to have come out of nowhere and shown that he wants to have a say in this fight. So he might be a fifth player in this fight.
Matt Hackathorn started 24th and is now 5th. So that's even a bigger mover than Paul Ross. So some great moves for Hackathorn. Now the first driver on that's on fresh tires is Chuck Sweeting in 9th. That's a long way to go. And I don't think the advantage is big enough to really benefit, enough to get to the lead. But for Chuck Sweeting in that 26, who has had a great day so far, you certainly could make up a couple spots. And it might end up being a great strategy call. So the lights are out on the Ford FR500 pace car. Going to get the 1 to green symbol. Peter Short, Eric Mickey, Kurt Crum, Paul Ross, Matt Hackathorn, your top 5. Now, Finian, if you're Kurt Crum, you know that the 22 is the best truck on the racetrack. Do you help him here, knowing that he's going to jump out on those 3-start, or do you avoid helping him, hoping that the 6 truck gets out front and you can take advantage of the battle for the lead that will ensue after? I mean, it's really a strategy thing, but I mean, would you help the leader if you were in Crum's position?
I would try to help out Eric Mickey, because it seems that Short's just a lot better on the restart. So I would try to help the slower of the 2 out, so that way you can get a bit bigger say in the fight.
Pace car is going to round turn 4. The pull down. And let's see if Short gets it as good as a restart he does last time. A great jump, and green flag is back in the air. Hackathorn's going to look to the inside of Crum, but thinks better of it, and Short just runs away on that restart.
Yeah, Crum got a really bad start there. He lost a lot of ground.
Oh, caution's out again. And it's Chad Brown in the 64 once more. And
he seemed to be more of a victim.
Eric Mickey is getting really lucky, but yep, oh man. The 76 bounced off the 88 and into the wall goes the 64. Let's get another look at it. The 76 goes 3 wide there. The 88 and just bounce. Yep, they just kind of ping-ponged off each other there. Wow, that's a vicious impact into the wall. So a victim now for Chad Brown. All right, so after all that's happened, Chuck Sweeting was actually able to move up a spot into 8th. And Skylar Nissel is up in the 9th, and Nathan Velez is 10th. So interesting to see how these tires might pay off. And the longer these guys run, and the more restarts they get under their belt, the more heat cycles we'll have on those tires. And iRacing tires very sensitive to heat and temperature, so as soon as you spin them, and they turn into that molten rubber that they get into, those guys that pitted later are really going to be enjoying their decision if this keeps going like it is. Peter Short just wants this thing to end, man.
Yeah, he's definitely not a fan of all these restarts. he nailed 2 restarts down to a T, but you never know the one restart where you're going to spin the tires, miss a shift, And actually, speaking of missing a shift, Kurt Crum got a huge break on that. He's only gone back to 5th place, but he's definitely about to lose a lot more position. And Hackathorn almost made it 3 wide going to 1.
Hackathorn was aggressive on that restart, and I expect him to be the same now. And he'll have the top side on this restart, so we'll see if he does the Kyle Busch maneuver and runs around the outside lane. But Kevin Finn, look at him running in 4th spot right now. Started 5th, running 4th. He's kind of been all over the place today, but this is about as high as he's been. And he's going to be in a prime position behind Eric Mickey, and maybe Kevin Finn can give Mickey a little push and shove on the restart. I think if Mickey can be alongside Peter Short going into turn 1, I think there could be definitely a change for the lead. The hard part is being side by side. I mean, it's so difficult, especially if you don't have a triple screen setup or you're not running in VR, to be able to see what that leader's doing, and even if the leader gets a jump by 1/10 of a second, you just lose so much ground once these trucks put power to the ground.
Yeah, I always say 2nd place is one of the worst places to restart. Yeah, I'd rather start almost last than start in 2nd place.
Well, you know who's in 3rd now? That's Paul Ross in the number 18.
You okay there?
Yeah, I muted my mic for a second. I was coughing, but something's going on. I hope I am not gonna. That's not a bad omen for Peter Short, and so I hope he doesn't choke because I am over here. But whew, hopefully I didn't jinx him now. All right, so the caution's out. We're working lap 134. I think, if I can remember correctly, I think this is our 4th or 5th caution. Can't remember off the top of my head, but we're up there. The first 3/4 of the race, we only had 2. And now, as Daryl Waltrip would say, cautions breed cautions, and they have bred like bunny rabbits here in the late going of this race. SimTV tomorrow night has the ISDC's Indianapolis 500 at 9 o'clock p.m., so be with us for that tomorrow night. And next week, the Scar Series is back with us again on Sunday night at this time, about 10 o'clock, right when this started. We'll be with IndyCar again for Scars. So a couple exciting events coming up the next couple of weeks.
Yeah, they're actually also coming to Iowa, so that'll be convenient.
Oh, good. I don't have to buy another track. So Scars will be with us next Sunday, tomorrow night, ISDC, for their final race, their send-off. The Indianapolis 500, after they announced their season would be shortened due to a restructuring program. So we'll stay in put and kind of seeing where that'll all be. So stay tuned on their Twitter and their Discord for updates on that. But meanwhile, we still have to finish this one out. It'll be 15 laps to go. Peter Short, Eric Mickey on the front row, and it's going to be crazy. And that 14 truck looking racy on that outside lane. Can he give him a shove? Green flag's back in the air, and again, Short just takes off on the restart. Eric Mickey's under attack now.
He's under attack from both sides. 14 just couldn't get something there.
Matt Hackathorn's looking racy, and Kurt Crum there as well. This is real tight off of turn 4. Hackathorn's pushing the 14 down the front straight. Oh, the 44! Ooh. Into the wall, but caution comes out again. And significant damage, and that's to the 26 of Chuck Sweeting. What a shame to see that truck torn up. Well, let's go back and take a look at it. The 44 Hackathorn was pushing the 14 and just gets into the corner and out of control, and yep, just lost it there and went around just enough to trigger the caution. Riding on board now at the 44 Hackathorn. Yeah, just kind of spins out once he hits the 14, just got out of shape, and the 26, unfortunately, was right behind to get himself gathered up in that.
He came back spinning directly into the field, so
Well, he's still going to be on the lead lap. He's not too badly damaged. I think the 26 got the worst end of that, but he will come down pit road. Eric Mickey, again, is going to get another shot at Peter Short. So I don't think Eric Mickey could ask for anything better than this. But he's really got to, I mean, I think he's been snookered 3 times now. So maybe it's worth taking a shot and a chance to see if he can maybe get a jump on that 22.
Yeah, I would say definitely at least try to anticipate it, because you're really, really running out of time. So any chance of, like, you know, missing the start, trying to work your way back up manually is kind of out of the door at this point, because they're going to restart within 10 laps to go, and you really, really need a good restart at this point.
See Frank Sims IV working his way around. He's got the free pass, so that'll put 17 trucks on the lead lap. Haven't really seen a whole lot out of him this evening, but started 25th, running 17th, so he's come up a couple spots, so not too bad of a night. A little bit of damage on the right front. And after all this, Peter Short's truck, completely spotless. Not a scrape or scratch on that truck. And really shows how skilled of a driver he is here at Iowa Speedway. Last week at Eldora, also quick, and I expect to see him just as fast in 2 weeks at Knoxville. Work our way down the backstretch. When we get to the line, it's going to be 10 laps to go, so we'll be less than 10 to go on this restart. So Kevin Finn, what a story he is. Kind of been quietly lingering there, kind of between 5th and 10th, but here he finds himself in 3rd with less than 10 laps to go, and he was looking really racy on that restart, and I expect to see more of the same on this next one.
Yeah, he got handed a pretty good card here. Yeah, as you were saying, he was like around 5th for like most of the restarts, or like a little bit on back. He's right now sitting in 3rd, and he's pretty much in a prime position. If he can time a better restart than Mickey, he might be looking at 2nd, and if maybe even a win if he can do it right.
We'll keep an eye on the 14 of Kevin Finn. The field works their way through turn 2 now. We should get the 1 to go next time by. So that'll be restarting with 8 laps to go. And if we continue this pattern, I think if we get a wreck with 5 to go, I think that ends it. I think that would be the end of the race. Either 4 laps or 5 laps. I'm pretty sure it'll be 5. So they're going to have about 3 laps to run it out. So it's either going to be 1 more caution, or it's going to be the end of the race. So checkers or wreckers at this point. The field's going to reorganize here. The lights will go out on the pace car this time by. 1 lap to green. Let's reset your top 10 here. Peter Short in the 22, Eric Mickey in the 6, 14 at Kevin Finn, 18 Paul Ross, 11 Kurt Crum, 83 Johnny Thomas, Levi Zielinski in the 59 with fresh tires, Chuck Sweeting in the 26, Nathan Velez in the 48, and Todd Smith rebounding after 2 wrecks back into the top 10. So got a couple guys there, 7th, 8th, and 9th have a little bit fresher tires than the rest of the field. It's about 8 laps different, which is pretty significant. So they have a long way to run, but if things get crazy on this restart, it's not out of the realm of possibility. So the pace car is going to head down pit road off of turn 4. Eric Mickey right on the door of that 22 truck. And green flag is back in the air, and again, Short gets a great jump, but it's not as good of a jump as he got last time. He's going to pull down to the inside, sweep back up to the outside, and Eric Mickey's under attack from the 14 of Kevin Finn down into turn 1.
Yeah, 14 there got a great restart. Doesn't seem like he can make the move, and here comes the 18 of Paul Ross on the outside.
We're side-by-side behind him. Kurt Crum is in the middle of it. There's Johnny Thomas in the 83. The 26 of Chuck Sweeting's got some damage to the nose, but it doesn't seem to be hurting him too bad. Lots of action all over the racetrack. Down the back straightaway, 7 laps to go. Kurt Crum is in the middle of a hornet's nest right now. There's the 83 Johnny Thomas and Kevin Finn. Whoa! Big group of cars off turn 4. We got a caution again. Oh, it's Thomas Morris in the 27, sideways on the front straight. And Finney, that was with 6 laps to go. So I'm not sure if that's going to officially end it. It's going to be close. We might see a 1 or 2 lap restart. It's going to be definitely close. Let's take a look at the incident. 27 of Thomas Morris. Off of turn 4. Oh, the wreck started way in front of him. And the 33 was also involved, Jordan Teal, so we have to get a better look at that. So there's the 33 of Jordan Teal, and I think the 88 was actually where it really started. Yep, off of the nose of Matt Hackathorn. 33 gets hooked by David Wilson in the 39. All right, we'll jump on board with the 94. Yeah, 44 to the inside of the 88 just gets into him, and nowhere for the 94 of Whitley to go, and he actually gets through it. But they wreck behind him. I'm going to get on board with Jordan Teal as well. Looking out the nose here. The 44 dives to the inside, kind of a late move, drifts up into the 88, spins him out. And Teal gets spun by the 39 of Wilson. So a lot of cars involved in that one. All right, so late race drama means that Peter Short might have to survive one more restart. We have to wait on iRacing's word here to see if we're going to get another shot at it. We should get a 1 or 2 lap shootout. So these guys up front have been pretty clean with each other. It's been the midfield that's been the trouble spot tonight. And I'm interested to see, I mean, these guys up front racing with such professionalism and such cleanliness, but I'm interested to see if maybe the 18 can throw a bumper into turn 1 if he can get a good restart. I mean, that 22 has been so strong and pretty much unbeatable on these restarts thus far.
Yeah, definitely gonna have to see. We are 3 laps to go, so if the pace car lights don't go out next time by, the race is over. I really wonder what's going through Peter Short's head right now.
Well, folks,
you've nailed every other restart, and you're just trying to not make sure you don't mess up the last and most important one.
It's totally possible that this race is over, and we haven't been paying attention enough to know. But I'm sure there's guys that are smarter than us that have figured that out already. So let's keep an eye on those lights on the roof of the Ford FR500 pace car. If they turn off, we will have one more shot, a 1-lap shootout, and one more chance for Eric Mickey. Do the lights go out? No, they don't. That means that this race is effectively over, and Peter Short will be your winner. Well deserved, I must say. Well deserved for Peter Short.
Yeah, definitely. I would say everyone up there deserved their positions. Yeah, Peter Short, Mickey showed great promise. I would have said if Short didn't win the race, definitely Eric should have won the race. And I don't think we could say enough about Paul Ross and his climb to the front.
Yeah, Paul Ross. Also, Chuck Sweeting has held on to 7th even after that wreck. Good work by all these guys to make their way up here. So let's get that ticker back on, and we'll show you where your finishing orders will be, provided no one pits, which I think would be silly at this point. But it's going to be 22, Peter Short, Eric Mickey, Paul Ross, Kevin Finn, Johnny Thomas, your top 5. Kurt Crum slipped to 6th, so a late race slide was your second place runner for most of the race. Then behind him, Chuck Sweeting, all the way from 26th. 19 spots. That's a great day. Levi Zielinski rebounds, had a kind of a struggle mid-race for 8th. Todd Smith, he pulled that one from somewhere that the sun don't shine. That was amazing. even after being involved in, I believe, 2 incidents. Started 14th, fell back all the way to the mid-20s, through some pit strategy and some cleverness, has worked his way back up into the 9th spot. Nathan Velez is going to round out your top 10. Sam Close just misses it in 11th. Then Nick Miller in the 99, who struggled early on in this one. Matt Hackathorn, who had such a good run going and was involved in that wreck with the 14. And then David Wilson, Jordan Teal, Rusty Webb in the 88, Frank Sims the 4th in the 75, and Michael Whitley in the 94. That's going to round out your lead lap cars. As we come to the checkered flag, Peter Short's going to win here at Iowa in round 7 of the 2018 Nathan Young Designs Truck Series for 3WideRacing, sponsored by Race Kings. So Peter Short is your winner.
It definitely makes up for the disappointing week last week at Eldora, where Short ended up retiring within the first 5 laps of the race. So to come on with a win is a great job for him.
Yeah, Short showed a lot of speed at Eldora, and here he comes onto the front straightaway. And a well-deserved victory burnout is in store for that Kansas City Southern Tundra of Peter Short. We'll watch him celebrate. We're going to jump to break after he celebrates here, and it'll be about a 3-minute break. We'll go grab a couple guys to interview your top 3, and I think we might also get one of the other drivers in here, maybe Matt Hackathorn, if we can grab him. But Peter Short doing what is going on with that truck right now?
Yeah, I'm also trying to comprehend what's going on. I think he broke it.
Oh, well, hopefully that rear end didn't need to pass tech. So there he goes. There he goes with the burnout. Victory for the 22 in the Kansas City Southern Tundra team. So Finian, what a great race that was. The first 3 quarters of the race, pretty clean, pretty straightforward, green flag pit stops and everything, and then towards the end, everything kind of fell apart, and ended it pretty much the last 40 laps kind of run under yellow. So unfortunate for some guys that were moving forward towards the end, but Peter Short comes out on top. All right, so I think it's about time we jump to break for just a couple minutes. It'll be about a 3-minute break. Do not leave. We'll be right back with your winner, Peter Short. We're also going to try to interview Eric Mickey, Paul Ross. Maybe Chuck Sweeting is also in for an interview, coming all the way back from that 26 starting spot. So we will be right back here on SimTV. Welcome back to Sim TV, and we're here with your winner, Peter Short, in the number 22 Kansas City Southern Tundra. Peter, that was a dominant performance, and you had some troubles a couple weeks ago at Eldora, but here you just laid the law down, drove away. You had to survive probably 5 or 6 restarts late in the going. Tell us about that and how you were so dominant here tonight at Iowa.
Coming into tonight, I was a little bit hesitant. I'm not a big fan of Iowa because it's variably banked, and if you don't get a good qualifying position, it kind of can set your tone for the whole race. But kind of put in a good lap. I felt like I might have given up a little bit of time in 3 and 4, but it was enough to capture pole and use that really to my advantage. I don't think I ever kind of fell back behind second place, except for when we had the pit sequence there after the long green flag run. But I use that track position to my advantage because it's so hard to pass at Iowa, and especially when the groove changes. Early on in the race, I was running that high line because I felt that's where the grip was, and I don't know if the track up there just got too rubbered in and it got really tight on the top. I worked my way back down to the bottom, and it seemed to help save tire, and it was also a little bit faster. So, kind of, a cool night. You don't often see that in iRacing where the groove changes, but I guess with variably banked tracks, kind of throws another variable into the mix. So, all in all, just kind of a cool race. Those last few restarts, I kind of played around with Eric on when I was gonna hit the gas to start going, and went really late one time, really early the next time. So I think I got into his head a little bit and was able to stretch out a sizable gap before the next yellow came out. I think Eric had something going on the high side. I think that high groove started to cool off a little bit, and he was picking up time on me. So it could have been interesting if it stayed green, but we'll take it in the 22 Kansas City Southern Tundra.
Excellent. Well, thanks for talking to us, Peter. Congratulations and good luck in a couple weeks at Knoxville.
Thanks, guys. I really appreciate it.
All right, have a great night. All right, Eric Mickey, driver the number 6. You had a great race tonight, and you came home P2. Tell us a little bit about that and surviving those restarts in the late going.
Yeah, it's unfortunate we had those cautions at the end because we had a lot of good green flag runs there, which is something sorely needed after that last dirt race we did and the rest of the season. But tonight was a step in the right direction for the league, I think, as far as having a lot of green flag running. The late race restarts were a pain and very difficult to make sure that you were able to hold your position through the first couple and not get dive bombed. I think the racing might have been a little bit better if we had a different weather conditions. It was just there was so much grip. Everybody was running this pretty much the same lap times, so no one could really do anything. And this track usually offers a lot more options for drivers to move around and try different things. So that was unfortunate, but I think it was a pretty good race overall.
Yeah, so tell me about that a little bit. Peter Short was saying the line had moved around a little bit. Everyone was kind of running the top early on, and it migrated down a little bit to the bottom. With the weather so cool, did you really feel like you could move anywhere later in the race, or were you kind of stuck to one line?
I don't think you were stuck. I think as long as you had the ability to run up to the wall on the exit of turn 2 and the exit of 4, you could run the bottom, you could run the outside, you could run the middle. Like, it didn't really matter. I think the people hit their stride at different points, and Peter was able to pull away at one point. Kurt was out front for a while. There were times where I felt I was better than both of them when I was behind them earlier in the race, and then I got in the wall a little bit off 4 at one point, and I think that kind of hurt me a little bit. But yeah, I don't think the line moved around as much as you were able to just kind of pick a lane and make it work as long as you didn't have somebody keeping you from letting the truck unwind on the exit of the corners.
And we got Knoxville in a couple weeks here. And last time we were at a dirt track, it was a little bit messy. So as we head to Knoxville in 2 weeks, what are your expectations for that, and how do you expect to run there?
I don't know. I don't think anybody can really expect much as far as that goes. I think it was the first one we did at Eldora was a learning curve for a lot of us. We have now we're going to a new track. Probably most of us probably haven't even bought it. I know I haven't. So I think there's going to be some experience from that Eldora race that you can bring into this one. Um, Hopefully we'll have less yellows there, a little bit better format. should be able to be developed for that after the experience with Eldora. But again, that's just, can you avoid getting wrecked? Can you pick up the positions on restarts that you can pick up, and can you keep from screwing up and giving it all back as we have a 10 lap, 15 lap run, whatever we might get. So, it's going to be kind of like putting a bunch of dice in a cup and then just seeing where it all lands after however many laps we do.
All right, so a little bit of a wild card coming up in a couple weeks. Thanks for talking to us, Eric, and congrats on the P2 finish. And you should be able to extend your points lead with that. I haven't really gotten a good look at that after the race, but good luck in Knoxville in a couple weeks.
Yeah, thanks. I just want to thank Corey Lindsay, 3Wide, all the admins that put all this together. They do a pretty good job, and then Nathan Young Designs stepping up, sponsoring the series, and of course, you guys for coming out and broadcasting these events.
All right, thanks a lot, Eric. Have a great night.
Thanks, you too.
All right, Paul Ross, driver the number 18. Paul, you had one heck of a run. I think you started 21st and came all the way up and finished P3. So tell us about that drive to the front and how crazy it was late in that race.
Yeah, qualifying I kind of messed up. Truck was pushing real bad, and coming off a 4 on my first lap, I barely scraped the wall, which then killed my second lap. And these races that we've had at Iowa have been a crapshoot. Either they're like tonight, where there's not very many cautions, or we've had them where the first half of the race looks like what the second half of this one did, and then we get the green flag run. So I was just hoping nothing would happen in front of me. I figured I had around a top 5 truck, but luckily got up to, I think, 11th place, and that first caution came out around lap 30. I was glad that one came out. My tires were kind of burnt off. And then the long green flag run, it was fun, and towards the end I was going to try getting a run on Eric, but just ran out of time before the last caution came out.
Yeah, so tell us a little bit about that advancement forward. Of course, most of the first half of the race was under green, which is where you made most of your passing, because the second half was so much yellow. Do you think you could have won the race or had a better shot at it had it gone green to the end?
I don't think I could have won, just for the fact that the tire fall off was so quick. If I would have had 1 or 2 lap newer tires, I might have been able to give them a run for their money. But with the tire fall off being so quick, and if you're on the bottom and if they pinch you down at all, you can almost feel your tires heat up instantly and just lose grip. But as far as the advancing goes, the first run, I would try to get a run on the high side and then just drive it in real deep and clear them in the middle of the corner, and then be able to kind of slide job back up in front of them on exit. But later on in the runs, it was definitely a lot harder because you didn't have the grip that you needed to drive it in to get below them. So the first run, we were just kind of trying to drive it in deep, and then we got up, I think, 4th or 5th relatively quick on the beginning of the long run, and then kind of just maintain track position from there.
All right, well, Paul, you had a great run tonight, and a couple other drivers also had a run similar to yours. Chuck Sweeting in 7th. We're unable to reach him for comment, but thanks for talking to us, Paul. Got Knoxville in a couple weeks. We expect to see you running up front, and it'll be fun to watch, so thanks for talking to us.
Yeah, thank you, and I better start picking for dirt.
All right, have a good night.
Thanks, you too.
All right, Finian, so our interviews are over. As I said, we're going to try to grab Chuck Sweeting because he had one heck of a race, but that will conclude this broadcast here on Sim TV. Finian, in a couple weeks we go to Knoxville, so tell me a little bit about what we're going to expect to see there. Maybe a little bit more of the carnage we saw at Eldora, or do you think it'll look more like this one?
I want to say that it would be cleaner racing because you always want to hope for that. But I definitely think that it would be a little bit cleaner because these guys do have a little bit of dirt under their belts. So they went around one time, so they have a bit of experience, so that should help them. So, but yeah, other than that, it's kind of a toss-up as to what we'll see for next week.
All right, and again, tomorrow night at 9 o'clock p.m., we have the ISTC's Indy 500. It's going to be a great one, so join us tomorrow night for that, and next week on next Sunday at about 10:15 p.m., we have Scars back for their IndyCar series here at Iowa. And then the week after that, we're back here with 3Wide for the Nathan Young Designs Truck Series. And we'll be at Knoxville driving in the mud again. So we're looking forward to that. Want to thank everybody involved in producing these broadcasts. We want to thank 3Wide and Corey Lindsay for supporting these broadcasts and helping us do so. And Race Kings, as well as Nathan Young Designs and our personal sponsor, Sparco. We want to thank them for helping us out. Finian, in a couple weeks, we'll be back. But thanks for watching. And we'll be back tomorrow night at 9 o'clock for the ISDC. Thanks for watching. Have a great night.